Hi, my name's Jim King. I'm the pastor of the First Baptist Church in Laurelton, and I welcome you to this video. God bless you. I hope you're having a good day. I'm doing very well. It's lovely outside. It's kind of summer-like, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the week. But I hope you have a great Lenten season, too, and that your Easter will be especially good. And I want to tell you a story. It's a little bit perhaps related to Lent. It's a story of St. Peter. It's either tradition or real history. I don't know. The story is about St. Peter. He was leaving Rome. He had gotten to Rome, and then the persecution was coming, Nero and the rest of them. He figured, let me get out of this place because I may be caught up in this and I'll get killed. So he was on the road, leaving Rome, and an angel met him. That's what the story is. An angel met him and said, Quo Vadis, Peter, where are you going? Peter, Quo Vadis, where are you going? And it was that confrontation, that kind of feeling, well, I'm abdicating my responsibility, that struck him deep in his heart. Peter turned around, went back to Rome, continued his ministry, and by tradition was martyred in Rome. I want to ask you the question, Quo Vadis, where are you going and where am I going? That's what's even more important for our purposes today than about Peter. Quo Vadis to you, where are you going? Where am I going? There are three possibilities for any of us. The first is we're going nowhere. The second is we're going somewhere. The third is we're going anywhere. But first of all, to begin with, I'm going nowhere. I remember when I was a youngster, 8, 9, or 10, I used to play Batman. If you remember the story of Superman and Batman and all of that, I put a cape on my neck and I was leaving the kitchen and my mother would ask me, where are you going? To which I would say, I'm going nowhere. And that may have been the case. I just was going to go out and run around on the lawn, or I was meeting somebody and I didn't want to tell her. But in any case, what I said was, I'm going nowhere. You know, it's important for us to go in a certain place and know what we're doing, to have some kind of goals. There was a famous philosopher in the 19th century, David Henry Thoreau, who once said, in the long run, people hit only what they aim at. In the long run, you hit only what you aim at. So we need to aim at something, not just say, well, I don't know where I'm going nowhere. I think that's not a good thing for us to do. The Apostle Paul, when he said in 1 Corinthians 13, when I was a child, I act like a child, I spoke like a child, I was a child. But when I became an adult, then I put on adult ways. And one of the things for us is to reject, well, nowhere, nothing, don't know. The second thing is that we're going somewhere. A lot of people say, I want to do this, this, and this, but there are all kinds of conditions so that you can get there. I'm thinking of Barak in the book of the Bible in the Old Testament, Judges, the 4th chapter of Judges. There was a general, his name was Barak. His boss, so to speak, was the prophet. Her name was Deborah in the book of Judges. And she said, you know, there's some enemies of Israel close by, and I'd like you, the general, the army person, to go up and fight them and get rid of them, so to speak. And Barak responded to her in a very interesting way. He said, you know, if you go with me, I'll go. I'm not going to go unless you go with me. It was a real conditional. I'll go somewhere, but I'm not going just anywhere. I'll do something, but I'm not going to do anything that you ask me. I remember when I was serving in the United States Air Force many years ago, I talked to a young troop. He was a member of a church. He was a Christian. He wasn't a particularly devout one, I think. I'm judging that based on his behavior. When I spoke to him about his church, he said, well, I don't go anymore. And the reason is that the priest in charge, or the Protestant clergy, whichever it was making us get up out of our pew at a particular point during the worship service and pass the peace. That is to say, simply to say to somebody who's close by in the pew, good morning, God bless you, the peace of the Lord be with you. Something like that. And nobody's made to do that. It's not compulsory, but that's what it was requested. And he was unwilling to do it. He was really looking for an excuse. He wanted to go somewhere with his religion, maybe to show up 3, 4, 5 times a year and hope that it's going to turn out right, that he'll like it. But for the rest of it, he's only going to go somewhere. I don't think that's very appealing, and I really commend to you that somehow you'd be willing to do a little bit more than that. And the third option that we have, not nowhere, not somewhere, but anywhere. Now, that's pretty demanding, to be sure. That is pretty demanding, but I think that's worth thinking about. And there are lots of people who've been willing to go anywhere, so to speak. The missionaries of old, St. Peter himself, when he was asked, Quo Vadis, where are you going? He turned around, went back to Rome and served, even became a martyr. Most of us are not going to be martyrs. We're not going to want that. And so, but I think of one time I was giving a lecture or a Bible study in a church up by Rome, New York. And there was, as I looked up at the stained glass windows, there were these beautiful windows. And then on the bottom, there was a kind of caption or label. And it said to so-and-so, Mary Smith, whatever the name, taught Sunday school 50 years in this church. You know, I think of today, sometimes we have to say to people, well, would you teach in the Sunday school till Christmas? Or would you do another 2 weeks? Or would you do it alternately with another teen teacher? And God bless us, we're grateful for any help we get. But when you compare this kind of conditionality to these people of old, and that same kind of person is alive today too, but some people just won't go anywhere, to be sure. Now, one person that was willing to go anywhere, so to speak, was a person by the name of David Livingstone. He's probably the most famous foreign missionary. He was born in the 19th century in Scotland, and he went to Africa. As a matter of fact, he never came back alive. He spent all of his career doing Dr. David Livingstone. And once a missionary society wrote to him and said, if you have found a good road to where you are, have you? And if you have, we want to know about that road so we can send some men to join you. Somebody was wanting to help, but it was kind of conditional. And Livingstone, the great missionary of another century, said, if you have men who will come only if they know where there is a good road, I don't want them. I want men who will come if there is no road. And that's where we are today. Now, in the case of Livingstone, as I say, he went into primitive Africa in the 19th century. There were no roads, and he was not willing to say, I'll go nowhere. He was not willing to say, I'll go somewhere. He was willing to say, I'll go anywhere. And I commend that to you. Not easy, to be sure. I remember Dr. Martin Luther King. He came to our seminary, my seminary where I graduated at Colgate Rochester Divinity School in New York State. And this was 1956, a long time ago. And his talk, I'll never forget the way he phrased it in his wonderful African-American voice, and a Southerner from Georgia and from Alabama. And he said, we've come a long, 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 long way. He was talking about racial progress in America. And then he continued, but we've got a long, 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 long way to go. And it was after that that King was stabbed while he was signing books. It was after that the King had his house set on fire. It was after that that King was shot while he was visiting a motel. And he was there because he was interested in the garbage workers of Memphis, Tennessee, and he was concerned about them getting adequate wages. Martin Luther King was one of those people who would go anywhere. How about us? We're not Martin Luther King. We're not some of these great saints of the past, but I want you to consider this great hymn, O Jesus, I have promised to serve thee to the end. Be thou forever with me, my master and my friend. I shall not fear the battle if thou wilt be my side, nor wander from the pathway if thou wilt be my guide. God bless you as you think about Easter and Lent and Good Friday. Think about this phrase asked of St. Peter in Rome in the first century, Quo Vadis, where are you going? And you may answer, well, I'm not going anywhere, or I'm going somewhere. Or you might want to say, like that hymn writer and Martin Luther King and Dr. Livingstone, I'll go anywhere for Christ. God bless you. I hope you have a great Easter, and may the Lord be with you, whatever road you're on, and may he bring you to a heavenly kingdom in God's own time. I hope you have a great day, and God bless you.